deck has.
Yeah.
Like, it's not particularly good at defending itself, and it's threat light and soft to spot removal in some instances, as opposed to Caw-Blade, where there was like actually no identifiable weakness the deck had.
Yeah, it
was
could just do everything.
Total raw power was through the roof. Synergies were through the roof. It couldn't even really like mulligan or get land screwed or whatever because it played so many lands and tutors and stuff. But like, you couldn't even hope that it would mulligan to 5 and you'd be able to pick up one that way, because if it had a Squadron Hawk or a Stoneforge Mystic or a Jace, it was like, all right, I didn't really mulligan to
what mulligan?
I mulligan to 23 basically, you know. So, all right, so we got Michael Hetrick back on camera. We saw him earlier, I believe, in round 3. He's with it's called Nyapod, although it's basically green-white with a couple blue cards and a Zealous Conscripts. And on the right, we have
a brew.
A brew.
We have a brew. We have Jason Ames. Both these individuals are 4-0. He's playing Bug Control, and basically what that is his creature package is 3 Thragtusk, 3 Snapcaster Mages. And he's got a bevy of spells: 3 Think Twice, 3 Forbidden Alchemy, a Sever the Bloodline, a Tribute to Hunger, 2 Doomblade, 2 Tragic Slip, 2 Dismember, 2 Black Sun Zenith, 1 Lice Finale. You know, creatures are dying.
Right.
Unfortunately, Jason.
Unfortunately for him, Hetrick has drawn his singleton Thalia, which I can only assume is totally insane against this guy's deck.
Yes. I mean, making everything cost an additional 1 in like his all-spell deck outside of the 3 Thragtusk and 3 Snapcaster Mages. It's a pretty big pain. I mean, he definitely has ways to get around it. Like I said, 2 Tragic Slips, 2 Doomblades, 2 Dismembers. He certainly has ways to kill it, but it is going to stunt his growth quite well. And in addition to all of the spells that Jason has, he also has 5 Planeswalkers: 2 Tameo the Moonsage, 2 Garruk Relentless, and 1 Liliana the Veil. So his deck attacks from multiple different angles.
Yep. But right now, Hetrick is just straight on the beatdown plan. He's his Thalia is prohibiting Ames' development. He landed a Blade Splicer the previous turn, and this, in response to this 3-mana Think Twice, we're going to see a Restoration Angel resolve.
Thalia really doing a number on this game.
Yeah.
Think Twice is already painful enough to cost it to pay it 2.
Right.
When you have to pay 3, that's rough.
So there's a Zenith for 1, which is quite awesome.
That's actually not bad at all.
Yep.
That's not bad at all.
I mean, he's still on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's facing down 6 points of damage on the board right now, even with the counters on the creatures. So, I mean, this attack is going to put Jason down to 4.
And I think that Ames very likely has like no problem winning this game, if not for Thalia, because like it prevented him, instead of Think Twicing at the end of the second turn, he did nothing. Instead of being able to Zenith for 1 on the 3rd turn, he had to cast Think Twice, and now we're here.
Very good draw there by Jason. I'm not sure if he had a Thragtusk already, but we know that he has one now. He's going to go up to 9, and Thragtusk beats both of those Golems as well because of the counters on them. And, I mean, realistically, he wouldn't really care if the Thragtusk died either.
Right.
So.
And Hetrick's out of gas. His hand is Bird plus Cavern of Souls, it appears, so that Thragtusk is devastating here. Basically, all we need to do is find a way to deal with the Restoration Angel, and we got this like kind of wrapped up. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
he still has Birthing Pod, he has draws or whatever.
Of course. I mean, given the situation, if he does find an answer to that Restoration Angel, and his deck has a bevy of answers to a 3 toughness creature, and that's one of them. That's going to be a Garruk Relentless. Then Thragtusk is going to be able to hold down the fort, and then Jason's going to be able to get his card drawing online. He's going to be able to get his Planeswalkers online, and he's going to be able to take care of business.
That's a totally insane. I mean, all these turns are insane, but that one was another good one. So now Garruk is flipped. Thragtusk is holding off the Golem. Not even Birthing Pod is that good of a draw right now because the chain he has to start is so slow.
Yeah, he has to start from the 1s all the way up. And now with Garruk being flipped into the alternate form, he can very easily do something along the lines of, all right, attack with my Thragtusk. You know, if you want to block it, you can. Sack it to, you know, search for another Thragtusk. He's just going to let him make one of the Death Touch Worms this turn. But I mean, that's just one of the options that he has available to him.
Yeah. This is a pretty insane turnaround here.
Yeah, you know, you pretty much thought, you know, if he could do something to get that Thalia off the board, or just something to, like, slow it down or stabilize a little bit, his deck can take over, like, really quickly. He's got a ton of removal. Thragtusk is a kind of card that turns around the game insanely fast.
There's a Gavany Township, which is a very, very good, allows him to at least, I mean, he can't exactly attack Garruk right now. He can at least pump his bird and get in for 1. Or he can send everything and but sending everything doesn't get him anywhere because you can put Wolf in front of Golem and Thragtusk in front of Pilgrim.
Yeah.
So I think he just sends his bird.
Yeah, just knock it down for 1. I don't think that attacking Jason straight up for 1 to put him at 6 is very good. I believe he's actually higher. I think his life total is higher than that too.
Who, Hetrick's?
Jason's. I think he should be higher than 7.
No, because I think he went from, he was at 4, and then played Thragtusk to 9. Okay, yeah, and then 14.
Yeah, 9, 8, yeah. So yeah, 12 or 14-ish range is much more correct. Just because 12 correct. Okay. 2 Thragtusk, basically.
Yeah. So we're gonna send both our Thragtusk in.
And leafing through his hand, I mean, we see a Darkslick Shores, and we also see a Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster being able to target the Tragic Slip in his graveyard with the Morbid Trigger happening as he's going to get a Beast here. And he also does have the flashback on Think Twice as an option.
Yep. So I assume we're just making another, or upgrading.
Yeah, he's going to sacrifice this. Sacrifice a token. Likely going to go get the 3rd Thragtusk of the match. Go up to 17, and then dare Hetrick to beat 2 5/3s and a Beast.
Plus Snapcaster and Tragic Slip still left over.
Yes.
But yeah, this is, just at the risk of repeating myself, this is a very impressive comeback here.
Oh, I definitely agree with you.
I mean, Hetrick could, with the exception of him not having Birthing Pod, he really couldn't have asked for a much better draw this game.
Yeah, no, I mean, the beatdown's the 1 Thalia against a all-spell control deck. Yeah, like no creatures in his deck at all, and 5 Planeswalkers in his deck, and not having to, if he had to, let's say pod in Thalia, it would have been too slow. It needed to be on turn 2. I mean, on Jason's side, it was pretty important that he did draw one of his 2 Black Sunzines to get out of the situation, but you put the cards in your deck so that you can draw them.
Right. So there's a Blade Splicer with 5 mana up, so he can still use his Township.
And what looks like, because he does have 5 mana available. Okay. So I think that's going to do a decent enough job holding him off. I mean, we do know that he has the Snapcaster for Tragic Slip, so if he is to activate, he can kill the Blade Splicer. But let me see Snapcaster Mage here.
Well, doesn't he just respond with a Township?
Yes.
Yeah, he needed to wait until the Township got activated so he could, like, the Golem wouldn't first strike.
Felt a little bit hasty to me.
I mean, at this point, he still just has to attack, right? He just has to send everything and lose a Thragtusk.
This is an attack for, yeah.
He's got to get that Beast in there too, right?
I think that Beast should be attacking. So now he's just going to block here, first strike, go down to 5 probably. Don't love that attack from Jason. I just don't like the sequencing of that turn at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the point where you're committed to attacking with your Thragtusk, you should definitely be sending in your Beast as well, right? Because, like, it's just free damage.
Yeah.
Like, you're already losing a Thragtusk, that's a guarantee. And then he can either chump block with the Blade Splicer, which is fine for you.
Sure, taking the first strike off the Golem.
Right. Or he can just take the 3 and go down to 2, and now your Snapcaster is representing a lethal attacker.
Yeah, just a little hasty as we see. Okay, he's just going to Township straight up right now.
Yeah.
And just says go.
So I assume we're going to be thinking twice here.
Draws in the Beast Within. It's a draw that doesn't affect too much, I don't think. He draws into
Forbidden Alchemy. So he has 4/4, 3/4, 3/3.
And 5/5 first striker. So he's coming in with this. Alright, happily block. The thing about Jason's deck is that he does have like a lot of control tools, but he's also kind of threat light. Like he has 3 Thragtusk. He has 3 Snapcaster Mages. His Thragtusk are all gone now. We know he has Snapcaster in his hand and Snapcaster in play, and then he has like 2 Tamios, which really isn't actually a win condition. 2 Garruk Relentless, one of which he's already used, and then 1 Liliana Veil, which is like kind of a win condition, but not really.
So why not mana leak there? Like if he mana leaks, that means that he can't use his township. It's hard to imagine you getting to get a better spot to leak when he has. Like if he's resolving Borderland Ranger, that's another mana.
Well, assuming that Cavern is naming human.
Oh sure. Oh sorry. Sorry. I missed the Cavern.
Sure. And if Cavern is not on human, then I would absolutely mana leak. Yeah. I agree with you completely.
One assumes the way that he tapped that it was set to human.
Yeah. And now he's going to activate Township again right away.
Number 2. Please come back to side events. Your event is ready. Standard in the box. Number 2.
Yeah. I think Ames' last 2 attacks were both incorrect.
They just did not. They just felt poor, and especially now because now, like on the end step, as Hetrick looks like he's going to serve with this bird here for 4. Maybe. Okay.
10 minutes remaining in registration.
You know, he has all this mana. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 8 mana. So, I mean, would it really have hurt? I don't think it would have hurt at all to cast that Forbidden Alchemy on his main phase, because he does have 5 mana Planeswalkers in his deck. So if he would have drawn one, he could have cast one right away, as he draws into Dismember, Tribute to Hunger, and 2 lands. So he's going to take the.
I mean, now he has Dismember Snapcaster, so he actually just might kill him. Where you get to nuke.
You get to nuke his 2 biggest. You get to nuke the Pilgrim. You get to nuke the Blade Splicer. You have a Snapcaster in play. He has 2 blockers for 2 of your 3/3 tokens, and then you get in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So the Dismember should do it. We'll see if he pulls the trigger on it, but that should take care of it.
Well, I don't know if the other card in his hand is a Snapcaster.
We'll see Tamio there. He is leafing through pretty quickly, but I'm almost positive there is a Snapcaster Mage there. And we're going to see Tamio come into play. Yeah, that's a Snapcaster and Dismember.
Yeah, I mean, he had enough life to do what he needed to do, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that by our standards, the game should potentially be over right now. Now it's just getting to the point where I don't think that he's assessing like the game state correctly on what he needs to accomplish. I mean, it could also realistically just be a matter of being under the lights, under the camera too.
Yeah. So with Tamio at to 5, that sort of induces Hetrick to attack and then Township, and then in response you can Dismember, which I guess is the argument for not Dismembering on your own turn. But it's almost 99% likely that Hetrick uses the Township anyway, so I probably would have rather just done it up front, because if Hetrick drew another Township, he could Township to save his bird from Dismember.
And now he's just letting this one resolve as well. And now he's going to get into Tamio. It's a curious play by Jason. I think it's just poor looking at the game state, because I mean now this bird isn't even going to die when it should be dead, so he's taking 4 damage for like basically no reason.
So,
you know, if you're Hetrick here, he's going to tap the Blade Splash token. If you're Hetrick here, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, what outs are going to get him back and, like, get him out of this situation. Like, Sun Titan seems like it's probably a really good draw, just because it's Sun Titan in this board position.
Birthing Pod, too. I mean,
yeah, Birthing Pod does not seem poor.
Zealous Conscripts is probably a lot of action. I mean,
yeah, that's true as well.
Metamorph's not bad. I mean, he's definitely got draws. But, so, Hetrick tanking here.
Don't know what the mystery card is.
Right, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe it's something.
It's definitely a spell. All right, Deceiver Exarch. Untap his token. Interesting.
So now we can send Bird plus huge first striking token.
Trying to see if Hetrick can go for the kill here. I mean, attempt to just shove in for lethal. And if it does anything. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, part of the problem is like, I mean, I've been in this sort of position before, like that Hetrick's in now. It's like your opponent's played so oddly that you can't even be sure. Like, well, he obviously doesn't have X, Y, and Z because he would have done this. You know, that those sort of lines of
Yeah,
play.
sure,
like,
sure.
God knows what could be happening.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what he has now. Like he just dismembered a bird that wouldn't die. You know, like I don't know. I don't know what else he could have in his
This guy's
hand.
range is unlimited.
Yeah. He's gonna draw a card with Think Twice.
And that's a black Zenith.
And we're gonna see Beast Within on the Township.
So I assume this will lead into untapped Zenith for a bunch.
I mean, that's my best guess. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's not going to kill everything. I mean, it's going to leave Hetrick with a Golem token.
Yeah. How big? Is that -1 now or +1?
It's a good question. Hopefully we can find out from the spotter if it's -1 or +1 token.
And then we're gonna lock down the Golem with Tamio.
7 counters on Tamio. I believe the ultimate on Tamio is 8 as well. I want to make sure because I don't want to get that wrong.
So it looks like his hand at this point now is Mana Leak, Snapcaster, land.
2 Mana Leaks now.
Yep. And he has Alchemy still in the graveyard.
Yeah, the ultimate on Tamio is 8. It is a -1 counter. And we're going to see the second Mana Leak here.
Yeah, we're going to see, 2 Mana Leaks.
Okay, leaving him with just Snapcaster Mage. He's going to attack Tamio. Say go. Down to 6. And again, the counter on Blaze Splicer is a -1/-1 counter, so it is just a 2/2. Or excuse me, on the Golem token. This is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen now, because Jason had the tools to win. Used them incorrectly, and so we're going to see if he's able to dig himself back, into this game. Like you said, he does have the Alchemy in his graveyard.
I believe he just forgot to Tamio, his the opponent's Golem. Just said go too fast.
Okay.
So Hetrick debating now if he wants to alpha. I mean, I guess he's worried about Tamio's minus power is a potential argument for holding back.
Yeah, I mean it's very real. With 6 counters on it, -2 we'll draw him 2 cards. So I mean it's a very real thing.
I think we're just going to see Snapcaster, Dismember,
or Doomblade. Alright, Doomblade targeting the Abyss's Pilgrim. It's going to clear everything up, and now it's just going to be Tamio on an empty board with Alchemy in the graveyard for Jason Ames.
Not a bad spot to be in.
Tamio going to target the Cavern of Souls. We see Liliana of the Veil, forcing Hetrick to discard what looks to be a land. And we'll see an Elvish Visionary. See if Hetrick can peel his way out of this one.
And that red source is actually kind of an important draw because it means that Zealous Conscripts is still a draw here.
Yeah.
Because Cavern was locking out as 1 red source.
Not a draw now. Tamio ultimate.
Sure.
Think Twice. So now we can draw up like crazy. That's going to be a Garrick Relentless.
Never actually seen Tamio go ultimate before.
No, first time?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
first.
sweet.
It's my first time.
I've done it in limited, lost. but it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Seems pretty good once it gets going. I'm no expert on these things, but is that a life finale?
There's a life finale in his deck list. There's
Yeah.
one. Phyrexian Metamorph. Copying what is likely to be an Elvish Visionary. Give me one more, Floor. And a birthing
Sure.
card. All right.
All right.
All right. All right.
We got a little something.
A little haymaker here.
We got a little something.
Think twice. Ship it back. Draw a card.
It's a Black Zenith, I think.
Was that a Black Zenith you saw?
I believe so.
Okay.
Life's Finale is Wrath of God plus Jester's Cap.
Wow, Jester's Cap.
That is what
It is exile. You get to exile 3 cards.
from the deck.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to confirm that it is any card. And
All right,
not
it
just
looks
a
like
creature.
Hetrick's conceding.
Hetrick gives in.
Finally. Got off to an insane start. Ames with an insane recovery. Ames kind of let him back in the game. Looked actually like Hetrick was actually going to win at a couple points there in the mid game,
Yes.
and then got buried later.
Let's take a look at Jason Ames' sideboard. As I am also looking up Life's Finale. I hate being incorrect about cards. Makes me upset.
So we're going in our sideboard games here. It looks like actually not a lot of action from Hetrick's side that he can bring in here. He can bring in, possibly wants another Zealous Conscripts because there's so many Planeswalkers and Thragtusk.
Ton of
like
targets.
that.
Ton of targets.
And maybe he wants Hero of Bladehold, so he has a slightly more aggressive angle. Maybe an Acidic Slime because his deck's pretty top heavy, but not really a ton to bring in.
Okay. On my end,
Silverheart seems fine too because it's just like a
Silverheart?
big, yeah, he's got
Sure.
Silverheart, yeah.
on my end, again we have 2 Natural Ices and 2 Negates. Of course, being reactive against Birthing Pod, not ideal.
Well, I believe it's a little bit different than for this deck. Why I don't like the shatters in aggressive decks because even if you shatter someone's pod after it's been in play for a turn or two, the damage done is something that you often can't come back from. A control deck like this can actually shatter a Birthing Pod and then Black Zenith away all the damage that happened and then actually pull back into the game.
Okay.
So a deck like Jason's, I'm much more amenable to trying to bring in naturalized effects against Birthing Pod than I am when Zombies tries to do it or when Red-Green Beatdown tries to do it. Those kind of decks, I like it a lot less.
We're also going to find the 4th Thragtusk in the sideboard. 2 Phantasmal Images with plenty of targets.
Yeah.
So I would expect that to come in. An additional Sever the Bloodline, kind of iffy on that one. An additional Garrick Relentless with Jason on the draw and no way to accelerate into it. I don't love boarding an additional one of those. 2 Dissipates, I don't think that's where you want these. And then 2 Curse of Deathhold. And if looking at Hetrick's deck list, he has Birds, Land of War Elves, Elvish Visionary, Thalia, the front end of Blade Splicer, in addition to just making the guy smaller. It doesn't seem like a bad card.
It's also, it is just generally valuable in terms of protecting your Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
We saw it, we saw that game where you got into a spot where Black Zenith plus Thragtusk was able to hold off a bunch of 3/3s. The same sort of principles apply to Planeswalkers as well.
Sure. And just for those of you guys who have not seen Life's Finale in a little while, like myself and Patrick, 4 black, so 6 total. Sorcery, destroy all creatures, then search target opponent's library for up to 3 creature cards and put them in his or her graveyard.
Okay, so it's capped 3 dudes.
Yes,
okay.
just 3 guys. And they're put in the graveyard not exiled. So
okay.
A little bit different take on Jester's Cap, but yes, more or less.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're on Jason's side of things, against a pod deck, I'm trying to think just who would be more favored in this matchup.
Well, that game was a pretty. Hetrick got off to a great start, and there were some operations errors in the mid game by Ames, and he was still able to get it done. So I presume that implies at least game 1 is fairly good. Again, Hetrick was without Birthing Pod for basically the whole game.
Yeah.
So that distorts things because if he has Pod instead of a different threat card in those early turns, he probably wins the game very easily.
Sure.
But that was still pretty impressive that Ames' deck was able to come back from that start.
As we see a Bird of Paradise from Hetrick, Ames with the Hinterland Harbor and passes back, and we are going to see Birthing Pod. This
Hetrick,
time he has Birthing Pod.
Hetrick just ripped it. Pretty good time.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
not a bad time.
Yeah.
And he has no problem going to 18 to cast that, I'm sure.
Yep. Once that card's in play, I assume the game gets substantially easier. So basically, it's putting Ames under the gun to like kill every creature that gets played for the rest of the game, which is not an easy thing to do.
He's just always going to be under the gun now. You know,
Yep.
just everything, as we see at Gavany Township in Hetrick's hand as well, one of the more important cards in these drawn-out games. Yeah, everything that Hetrick does now, you know, you have to think about, like, let's say he puts a 3-mana spell in the stack. All right, well, if he puts a 3-mana spell like Borderline Ranger in the stack, that's going to turn into a 4-mana creature. It can turn into Hero Bladehold, it can turn into Restoration Angel, or maybe some 4-drop that I'm not prepared to play against, like a Metamorph copy against. So every creature that Hetrick casts now is something you have to be prepared to play against and think about the ramifications of if it resolves.
So I assume we're going to go and get a Thalia here to start things off, unless he's like jammed on mana or action, in which case he wants a Visionary.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, light on action or light on lands, either way.
Yeah.
If he's sacking the bird for Visionary, that's a little.
Well, it can't be
It's
light.
telling.
It can't be light on mana, right? If he's sacking.
I would like to think so, yeah. I mean, and we know he has a Township in his hand, so.
Did he just draw the Thalia there?
That looks to be the case. And he doesn't have additional Thalias in his sideboard, correct? There aren't any looming in there for Hetrick?
Nope.
Okay. So we see Thalia put on the stack now. And Jason moves his Dismember to the front, so he's probably okay with that Thalia resolving. Just pay the 4 life and the extra mana to take care of it. Putting Ames down to 16, so we had a tight game, but as far as board position is concerned, Hetrick is ahead.
You had to assume that there had to have been at least some argument to consider just dismembering the bird.
Sure, just so there's no, just kill the chain right away.
Yeah, just try to give yourself some breathing space to be able to draw your Naturalize or whatever. It's also possible, like, Hetrick just stalls on lands and you can win that way too. Like, but I'm a little surprised he didn't just fire off his removal spell right away.
As we see an attack here for 1 with the Elvish Visionary, putting Ames down to 16. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see an argument for, just killing it off right away, as we're going to see him sacrifice this. Likely a Blade Splicer, potentially a Borderland Ranger.
Yeah.
Also potentially a Deceiver Exarch to untap it to move up to 4.
And then what are we doing at 4? Getting a Restoration Angel?
Yeah, Restoration Angel with, like,
Running
no
it back.
value. As this is on the stack, Jason does have the opportunity to respond to this. He's going to sacrifice this. I mean, he can get Angel, he can get Hero Bladehold if he boarded them in, which he did.
Yep. There's Hero.
And we're going to see Forbidden Alchemy. And, of course, Hero unchecked is, as we know, basically game over.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
Yep. And Jason is opting to get a Garrick Relentless off his Forbidden Alchemy. Interested to see what else is in his hand.
Well, he took it over a Ponder, which is sort of it's pretty interesting because Ponder, unless he has an answer for Hero already.
You know, I would hope he does. Like, you can't just let this card resolve. That's a Curse of Death's Hold that he just drew. There's a Garrick Relentless. That's not an answer, and that does not kill it.
Okay. I would have taken the Ponder.
Over to Hetrick we go.
I would have rather had Ponder, I think.
That's fair. That's fair.
So now Hetrick, I guess, can debate whether or not he just wants to go, like, play a land. If he has a land, he can just go land, attack in Township, or if he's going to, like, keep spinning on the pod.
He also has a Thragtusk in his hand as well, along with the Birds of Paradise and what looks to be a Sun Titan, even though he can't cast Sun Titan right now. So, I mean, options are definitely plentiful, for Hetrick.
You know, you can Ponder into a removal spell or Snapcaster, get your Dismember back.
We're going to see the 2 tokens come into play, and then resolution of the Battle Cry trigger. So it's going to be your typical attack with 7 by the man on a horse.
And then we
Sacrifice
spin
this
this up.
birds. Probably going to get an image to copy the Hero Bladehold.
Sure.
So you don't have to kill 1, you got to kill 2. Ponder drawn for Jason.
It's a little late for that.
Oh, it's not time for that now?
I mean, we're still kind of, all right.
All right, we'll move on to game 3. So, as these gentlemen sideboard, one thing that
I'll probably take those Garricks out.
you don't think those are good?
No, I'm saying they're probably fine, but
Not good, bud.
that was not Garrick at his most powerful.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, actual wood elemental. Anywho,
Wood elemental.
yeah,
What is wood elemental?
green and 3 colorless, 0/0. Coming into play, sacrifice any number of forests, and he's +1/+1 for each forest you sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
So actually, just like put it into play and then put it in the graveyard.
Sure. So obviously, this is not Jason's finest moment at this point in time.
One would presume.
I think
yeah.
we would agree with that. Oddly enough, he could still win this match.
Oh, easily.
He could still very easily win this match.
Yeah.
So there's no reason, to go on tilt or, he can just get it together, take a deep breath, and get things back in order to win this match. Like, he is playing at someone who's relatively good at Magic, so, there's the starstruck factor if you want to bring that into things. Being in front of a live audience can be nerve-wracking for some people. He's on the screen right now. He looks a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
But you can still win the game. You can still win the match and move on to being 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, although, the day that you're starstruck by, like, dude who plays a lot of Magic online and wins a fair bit is, like, maybe, like, competitive endeavors just aren't.
How dare you? I'm right here. I'm right here.
Maybe this is not for you.
You're not
you know what I
starstruck
mean?
sitting next to me?
No, I've known you for too long, man.
Okay.
Maybe there would have been a different time or whatever.
Okay.
It's funny how that stuff works is, like, the people that you're initially starstruck by, you kind of always are, even, like, as time goes on and, you just know them as people, and other people you're around are more accomplished. Like, I'm still starstruck by Jamie Park randomly, because Jamie Park was, like, the first guy that I was ever like, wow, he's, like, awesome at Magic and, like, he's cool or whatever.
Sure. As Hetrick is
Hetrick
moving
is
down
low,
to 6, we'll see if Jason aims to keep his.
But I was just, like, out at some
He's
bar
gonna
at Atlanta a couple of years ago, where it's just, like, hanging out with, like, Jamie, Brad, and Jamie and I are also just, like, pretty friendly at this point, just whatever.
Sure.
It's like Jamie, Brad Nelson, Yuza, and, like, a lot of the Channel Fireball crew, and I'm just, all these people who, like, significant, like, more recent finishes than Jamie, and, like, just kind of generally better career resumes. And I'm like, I can't believe that I'm hanging out with Jamie Park. You know what I mean?
There he is.
Just me and Brad and Jamie hanging out at the table. I'm like, Brad is so lucky to get to hang out with Jamie Park.
Yeah. Current player of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you should be counting your stars, buddy.
One, winner of 53 consecutive Pro Tour matches or whatever, whatever's going on, All right, so it looks like Hetrick's keeping 6. And starts with a bird. That's going to meet a tragic slip.
See if you. All right, so we have a a catacombs, Drowned Catacombs.
We might be without a third land.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think we're kind of relying on Think Twice to get us there. Tragic Slip number 2, Thragtusk.
I think we're sending the turn back.
Passing back. Not good. Hetrick has lands, but he doesn't have much to do with them.
Yep.
Seachrome Coast here. Deceiver Exarch on the upkeep. Tap his blue-black land. Okay.
Sure. Can potentially prevent him from flashing back his Think Twice, which it does.
Yep.
And now we get to go beat downs.
Yeah.
Now we get to go beat downs.
As only the Exarch can.
Boom.
Yep. 19. Thanks. We'll see what kind of follow-up Hetrick has. Just a Birds of Paradise. Probably going to meet a Tragic Slip again.
Yep.
Yep. See if he has a green.
No, but that's okay. He's still making his land drops.
Yeah.
And
he has access to Think Twice.
He's gonna. Yeah. He's not. I mean, obviously, and there's a birthing pod. So I'm curious to see if he's willing to run it into a potential mana leak here. It might be.
Too.
I mean, his hand doesn't have a lot else going on. If this doesn't resolve, I mean, it's.
Waiting on it isn't exactly ideal.
Oh yeah. No, especially with Think Twice looming in the graveyard, like you might just have to give it a go.
Here's his mana. Yep, he's going to take 2, go to 18 to cast it. It's going to resolve. Well, let's see what he does with it.
I mean, if he only has Hero of Bladehold to go get, it's not necessarily that bad. Like, he just can kill it.
Yeah, he can
move on.
Very easily kill it. He's going to sacrifice this. Yeah, I mean, we know he has Snapcaster Mage in his hand. He just sacrificed the creature to Birthing Pod. So Snapcaster on Tragic Slip with the Morbid trick, with the Morbid, it's going to kill it, whatever he opts to get. We see Hero Blade Hold, sure. Yeah, there's your Snapcaster Mage, there's your Tragic Slip. Okay.
This is the issue with some of these pod lists. It's like their chains are a little bit easier to break up than other lists I've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Where he's not getting Hunt Masters, where it's like it's hard to trade 1-for-1 with the threats that he's getting. Like, all right, he's out of the pod. Like that's all it took.
Yeah.
Just one kill spell, and
you see a Ponder for a Think Twice, and Evolving Wilds, and a Hinterland Harbor.
I assume we got to be keeping these, right?
I mean, he does. I mean, it's two
lands plus Green Source.
Yeah, I mean, Green Source for Thragtusk in hand. As he opts to keep it. Hinterland Harbor is coming into play, passes the turn. Can't quite get a good look at Hetrick's hand, I believe. I mean,
it's at least 2 lands,
yeah,
right?
I was going to say, there's at least 1 land hiding there.
Oh, there's an
Phantasmal image. Imaging Snapcaster, not ideal. If he's patient, he'll be able to get a Thragtusk and then, you know, sacrifice it to pod to go get a Sun Titan. So I mean, if he shows patience here, he can get a lot with that image.
Yeah. So I assume that Jason is going to want to straight up just cast Cursed Death Hold here, because okay, Tameo instead. That's also seems
actually
fine.
very, very good.
Yeah, you can just shut down the pod.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because the curse shuts down like a lot of the potential ways to start the engine up.
Yeah.
But if he had Tameo, this seems much more attractive. Just curse him next turn. That was Zealous Conscripts off the top.
It's not bad.
It is not bad.
There's a lot that he can do with that this turn. That was a very good draw.
He can either Jack Snapcaster and kill Tameo, or he can try to wait until Tameo's capped at loyalty and Mise that way.
I mean, he can also play Zealous Conscripts, untap his Birthing Pod.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's
a ton of lines of play here. This is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And if he has the 7th land, he could even play it. He could even play it, image it, and then take 2 things, and then just do some as he plays the 7th land.
The risk there with that play is like if he has Black Zenith, you're just done if you move in like this.
Sure. Conscripts. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does. Really, really interesting, actually.
So he's gonna untap the pod, it looks like. He's got to attack first, right? Okay, so now image.
He can untap his own land. Okay, he's gonna take the land. Okay, I like that. Now he's gonna kill. Now he's gonna kill Tameo, and then he's gonna sacrifice the image to the pod. He's gonna sacrifice the image to the pod. Go get Sun Titan most likely. Sun Titan, get back the image. Do it up. Do the ditty.
Yep.
Copying, presumably Sun Titan to get back.
Does he have a Visionary in there?
There's a Visionary. I also believe there's a Mana Dork down there as well. So, I mean, a fantastic turn for Hetrick.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good turn. He's just going to get a Mana Dork back.
Sure.
And getting the Mana Dork back is also pretty important because now he has a 1 to sacrifice to Birthing Pod if he needs to get another fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, just start back up.
Yeah, and just keep going that way. Getting an image to copy a Sun Titan or to copy a Zealous Conscript. So there's a lot that he can do.
We really need a Lice Finale here. Like
Lice Finale would be insane right now for Jason Ames. Insane.
It's like Wrath plus probably cut off a large part of your future pod action.
Yes. We draw Woodland Cemetery. We know there's a Thragtusk hiding out in his hand, a Woodland Cemetery. Not really sure the other. We see a Think Twice. What we know isn't there is Lice Finale.
Yeah. I mean, you basically have to find a way to both stay alive and cast as many of your cantrips as possible to give you as many shots to find your finale. Zealous Conscript is a hell of a card.
It's very powerful, yes. You know, that alone, like you said, his deck is basically green-white.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going out of his way to play one, I guess he has one main and then one in his sideboard. So he's going out of his way to splash just for that card.
Yeah.
And Phantasm Image. Like, he's going out of his way to splash for just obscenely powerful cards.
Insane thing to pod 4, and then so much stuff to be doing when you're like, you can steal your opponent's stuff and pod with it. I mean, it's just a million things.
Curse of Deathhold.
Okay.
It gets rid of the bird, but it doesn't have too much of an impact on the game right now.
I mean, it means that Snapcaster can block conscripts.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I agree with that.
Although, can he just
2 mana, Illish Visionary. He's going to give himself a card.
pretty insane now because Sun Titan get to rebuy that.
Yep. So 2 5/5 Sun Titans and a 2/2 Zealous Conscripts versus the 2/1 Snapcaster Mage.
So he's got to have some number of ways to be able to win the game this turn, right? Like another Conscripts does it.
To win the game this turn?
Like he could Conscript Curse and kill him, right?
I mean, I don't think there's any way for. The only way that he'd be
Oh,
able
no,
to
it's
get
up to 15. No, it's not. That's not lethal.
Yeah, the only way that
No,
he'd
no,
be able
that
to-
it would be 18.
6, 7, 6, 12, 15. It would be 18 if he can take the curse and move it to his side. But that's not something that's really easy to do just because his ones can't sacrifice to get a broken pod
right.
now. So it would have to be Metamorph. It means he'd have to draw Metamorph or chain it from a 3. So we're going to draw a card. He's also going to get back to Seaver Exarch this turn. Probably just going to tap that, tap the Snapcaster
Okay.
Mage. And this attack is going to be for 12 damage.
Knocking Ames to 6.
Still in this situation. Now he has that play open up to him, where he can sacrifice the Seaver Exarch to go get Phyrexian Metamorph to copy his Zealous Conscripts to take the curse. That's available to him now.
Although now he's in a with like the curse having stuck. Now he's actually we're at a point where like Black Zenith actually also gets him out of all of this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he's drawing way more live now than he was on the previous turn.
As we see Hetrick sacrifice the Deceiver Exarch to Birthing Pod. Searching through his 4s, we're going to find the Metamorph. Should see what he gets with Metamorph this turn. Or excuse me, what he clones. Gonna clone Sun Titan.
Yep.
Draw a card. Looks like his draw was Thragtusk. Looked like a land.
Yeah, that was an island.
And
Another-
Darkseid Shores. We know he has a Thragtusk. Thragtusk is going to pull him to 11. You just have to wonder if 11 is high enough. Flashback.
Another land, it looks like.
Canoan Harbor. So Thragtusk is going to put him down to 11. And Hetrick this should be a wrap now.
Yeah, he should be able to kill him this turn, right?
Yep, he's going to be able to get back to Seaver Exarch to tap the Thragtusk when he attacks with the Sun Titans and his Zealous Conscript. Snapcaster's going to jump in front of one of those Sun Titans, but one is not going to be enough when he's at 11. So it's going to be an attack for... It'll be an attack for 12. 12 points of damage will get through. So it should be enough to kill Hetrick as long as he sees it and as long as I'm looking at the board state correctly.
Alright, so
Sacrifice Phantasmal Image. Knows that he doesn't have anything to find. Search. Okay, sure. This will just take care of all the blockers.
yeah, he's just
Yep.
gonna clone his XR twice here.
Yep. That'll do it.
Yep.
Michael Hetrick moving on to 5-0.
Yep.
Defeating Jason Ames in his black, blue, green control deck.
Yep. Ames' deck was definitely impressive. I mean, I think